It's like we're inside a cloud.
It literally feels like we're inside a cloud. It's so foggy this morning.
I'm inside a cloud. You are outside. I'm inside of a cloud. And you are outside.
I'm just walking the kids to the school bus. That's why the camera's pointed out my nose, because they're in their uniforms. But yeah, it is so foggy.
It's hard to see.
It really is.
No longer should we fear being rejected or shamed for being kind-hearted, compassionate, or dare I say, nurturing. We are also nurturers. Fathers are rarely viewed as the nurturing parent, if at all. But after the tragic passing of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna in a helicopter crash, pictures surfaced online of Kobe freely operating as a nurturer. Men across the globe began sharing images of themselves nurturing their daughters along with the hashtag #GirlDad, which trended for weeks on social media. Men have always been nurturers, but sadly, most of us only feel safe allowing that expression of love to be displayed through protection and provision. I will never forget the time my son Jason had to have surgery on his ear. After the surgery, my wife and I patiently sat in the post-surgery waiting room until it was time to see Jason. Suddenly, we heard a familiar yell coming from Jason's room. He had just awakened from the anesthesia and was scared. Within seconds, one of the nurses came out and requested that Nicole come back to calm Jason down. Although I was offended that I was not asked to tend to my son as well, I checked my emotions because Nicole is a registered nurse. I knew she could assess the situation and comfort Jason, but then Jason yelled again. I calmly but resolutely walked over to the receptionist desk and told the nurse that I needed to check on my son. She tried to convince me that everything was okay, but my silence and steady stare motivated her to open the door. To the staff's amazement, my presence and words calmed Jason's soul almost immediately. My son knows I'm a protector and provider, but he loves that I'm also a nurturer like many other good fathers.
I'm just listening to Battle Cry by Jason Wilson. I've listened to this book before, but I wanted to give it another listen because it's just such a valuable book. He has another book called Cry Like a Man as well, and both of these books are books that I feel like every man should listen to. They're books that talk about regulating our emotions and why we feel certain ways, and just about being a fully comprehensive man. And I think women should listen to these books as well, because they'll give you a greater understanding of men and our emotions. They're just such valuable books. And he was just telling that story about his son in the hospital, and it reminded me of my experience of when Zoe had her first operation about a year ago. And you know, I've had some other similar situations like this where I'm just kind of looked at as, you know, not the nurturer because I am the father. And so Zoe was having a few teeth removed and she had to get put to sleep to have that done. She had it done in a hospital, and she was with me at the time she was having the operation. And when we were driving there, I didn't want any kind of conflict to happen, you know, during all of this, because it was already stressful. I wanted her to be, you know, as calm as possible. So I said to her in the car, if by any chance they only allow one parent to go in with you before you have your operation, I want you to go with your mum. She nodded and said okay, but she wanted me to be there when she woke up. And I said to her, you know, I will be there when you wake up, I promise you. And we got to the hospital, and you know, some of the COVID regulations were still going on, and they said that only one parent could go in with her, you know, while she was being put to sleep and getting prepped. So I waited in the hospital while everything was happening. I was stressed. I think anyone who's a parent whose child is having an operation understands that stress and all the things that go through your head when your child's being put to sleep. You're sitting there, you're wishing that it was you and not them, and you're stressing out. And finally the nurse comes out and says that everything's done and they're gonna wake her up. I calmly said, well, Mum went in with her, so I think I'll go in for when she wakes up. And the nurse didn't care. The nurse was just like, no, only one parent could go in, Mum's going in. And I felt like crap. It's like, you know, I'm a father, I'm a parent, I'm a nurturer. I have the right to be there for my child, but I didn't make a big deal out of it. And so I end up sitting in the waiting room, and then a few minutes later, the nurse comes out and says to me, normally we don't allow two parents in at the same time because of the regulations, but your daughter crying for you, can you please come in? And I was able to be there for her because she woke up expecting me to be there. But as a father, I wasn't looked at as the nurturer. It was just by default, I'm the guy who sits in the lobby waiting. I'm not the guy who's there to hold the hand. And fathers can be nurturers. We have that inside of us. And I think generations of the past, men worked and didn't get to play that role, but there is a shift happening where more and more men want to be able to do both. We want to be able to provide, but we also want to be able to be there to hold the hand of our children. And I think slowly people are starting to see that we are capable and worthy of giving that kind of love to our children. And I think it's a great thing that dads are able to do this now.
I'm nervous. There's so much freaking cars. Look how small the church is. It's literally like a building, like this little tiny building. Like, bro, it's a really small church. But everyone is here. I'm literally parked right here. Like, this is not even a parking spot. But it's gonna be easy for me to get out. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I don't know if I want to bring his car seat or if I want to carry him in. Carrying him in will be too much work. So let's bring his car seat, but his car seat will be there in case he needs to sit in it.
I've just been sitting in the car watching a vlog from someone who's a subscriber of mine. Shout out to her for subscribing to my new channel as well. And this is something that I want to start doing here and there. I want to start doing subscriber spotlights. And that video that I just watched was her taking her baby to church for the first time, which was a relatable one. It brought me back to the time where I was bringing my kids to church for the first time. So I stopped going to church for a long time. I've given my testimony before, so I won't give it again. But I started going back to church when Zoe was a baby. And I still remember that stress of going to church with a small baby and, you know, the pastor's preaching and then all of a sudden your baby starts crying and you're looking around, you're like, oh, we're the ones distracting everybody. And then I would get up and I would take her and little Ava into the parents' room and we'd be sitting there and I'd be trying to, you know, listen to the sermon and also talk to parents at the same time. And it would be stressful, but it was also a nice experience because, you know, the other parents would help me out and be understanding. And, you know, it was both stressful and comforting at the same time. I really enjoyed this vlog. It felt like a window into somebody else's life. It felt like how vlogs used to be before everybody was trying to do what the algorithm wants or trying to go viral. It just felt like, yeah, I was genuinely getting a peek inside somebody else's life. It was real, it was relatable. It had me watching until the end. I really liked it. So go give her a subscribe, like her videos, check her out, and if there's anybody else who wants to have a spotlight as well, let me know. I want to create a little bit more of a community vibe. I just came down to Chadstone because I want to go and get a pair of those Ray-Ban Meta sunglasses. You know, the Ray-Bans that have the camera inside of them? I heard that they have a 30-day return policy on them. So I want to get a pair, try them out, see if they fit into my vlogging workflow. I don't know if they will or if they won't, but if I can return them after 30 days, it seems like a no-brainer to at least try them out. Plus, I'm really curious to see what they're like. So I was just playing around with the glasses in the store. They look really cool. They look like something I would potentially use for certain things in my vlogs, just to get that different perspective, BTS kind of thing. Especially like when I do the street photography videos, it would be cool to have something like that where I've just got like the glasses on, filming while I'm taking photos and stuff like that for, you know, like a different perspective. But the one thing that kind of puts me off is, in order to get the footage, you need to upload the footage from the glasses to the app on the phone, and then from the app on the phone to your computer. You can't just plug the glasses into your computer to get the footage. So it's an extra step and an extra thing that can potentially go wrong. And when you're making daily videos, you're trying to manage your time, and I'm not sure if that could be too much of a headache if I'm doing it all the time. So I decided not to buy them in store. I'm going to buy them online, because if you buy them online, you can get a refund within 30 days. In store, you can only get an exchange. So I'm trying to be smarter with money. So I'll order them online and I'll do a review soon, let you guys know what I genuinely think of them. And yeah, excited to try them out soon. It's a bit later in the day now and I had to see Wicked. The trailers look pretty good, so hopefully it's good.
Which flavors? I'll get blueberry.
I don't think I've ever tried blueberry.
Yeah, that's why I'll get it.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so what else do you want?
Yeah, we got to be quick before the movie starts.
Okay, I don't want anything. For the candy's enough. I only spent around $5. Okay, so got 15. For some reason, I keep walking like this.
Because you're feeling the music. So funny. Zoe was like, people would think you're weird if you were listening to music in the Meta glasses and you're dancing in the shop. And I was like, well, then you just don't dance. She's like, well, how do you listen to music and not dance? I was like, well, fair point. That was a fair point. I think you're a natural born dancer, aren't you?
Because when I was a baby in the car, I go,
Yep, you would. You did so good at your dance recital. I was so proud of you. We just finished the movie. What did you think, Zoe? Just okay?
yeah.
that was kind of my review as well. I think overall, what? Ava just lost her crop while doing cartwheels. I think overall it was a really good movie. It was just a lot longer than it needed to be. But at the end it was good, at the start it was good, then the middle it just, I don't know.
Middle just got a bit boring.
Yeah, what was your overall review?
Half.
Half. Yeah.
The ending was the boring bit.
Really? I liked the end. The end was the bit where I woke up a little bit. Yeah, it was, yeah, I would give it like a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
I think the next one will be better.
I would rate it a 4 out of